Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome if this is your first time seeing me. My name is Julie. I run a podcast and a YouTube channel helping parents become more confident in themselves. I use a lot of techniques around organization, decluttering, taking control of your environment because sometimes that's the only thing you can control as a parent. I have 3 small kids myself, and I'm an occupational therapist. So I have a background in therapeutic techniques, analyzing people's profile, like how they live their life, not a profile like a social profile, like we think of it as in modern times, social media, not like that. Also just in the coaching process, and that is also something that I do, but we can get into that a little bit later. So today, I wanted to talk about my best hacks to support productivity and organization as we end off 2024 and go into 2025. You know, it's always a good time to think about how you can boost your productivity, but especially towards the end of the year, I think people get a bit of an extra bee in their bonnet about it. So if that is something that's interesting to you, make sure you subscribe, like this video, so that I know that I should make more videos along this kind of trend, along this line, and let's jump into it. So a bit of backstory. It is now December when I'm filming this. Right at the beginning of December, we've just had Thanksgiving in the US. Before that, we had Halloween. We've got school going. We've got regular lives going. We are also renovating our house. So that's like an added level of stress that I really hope will go away in 2025. I feel like we're seeing the light. So as long as we don't keep asking for more things, for them to do more things to our house, then we should be okay. But there's a lot going on in everybody's lives all the time, but it is heightened, I feel like, at the end of the year. You have to remember teachers' gifts, and if you send out holiday cards, you need to maybe get someone to take them for you, and you have to book that, and then there's all these events and parties and things happening. We have birthdays in our family around this time of year, on top of Christmas and all the things, and then we have family visiting, and never mind just your normal humdrum life of maybe you travel for work or you have a stressful job, you have children. It's a lot. And so I was trying to think about ways that I essentially have stopped myself from having a mental breakdown, because there've definitely been times, and what I do to boost my productivity, because I have spoken about this before, just ways that I try and improve my energy as a mom, because I don't always feel like doing a lot of the stuff. Like, honestly, if I could, I would just lie in bed and read a book. Although I don't really think that would bring me a lot of satisfaction in life, but that's what I want to do. That's what I feel like doing. I don't feel like exercising or going outside or even going for a walk often. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I just want to, be a blob. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. There's so much stuff that I do in my daily life that I don't really want to do, that I wouldn't do if it wasn't for other people and my responsibilities and the life that I've created. So, I have to figure out ways to make it work more smoothly and to make it more fun and enjoyable. And so I wanted to share my best hacks to boost productivity in the hope that this might help you as well. So I only have 5 over here. Let's see if I think of more as I talk about this. But the first thing, and I've spoken about this a lot, and I don't know why I don't always do this, but you need to write down the things you want to do. There is something about writing something down on a piece of paper and checking it off that honestly just guides you. I think it takes out the decision of like, what should I do? I don't find this works for absolutely everything, for things that I don't really want to do, but for the most part, the things that I'm like, yeah, I guess I can do that. Like, I don't know, take out the trash, wrap up a gift, send an email to somebody, follow up on something. Like little easy low-hanging fruit things, I find lists are really, really helpful for me. And especially I find I can't do a lot of this like admin, personal admin or home admin when my kids are around, especially like on the weekends and things like that. It's so much extra effort for me to now carve out time to focus on a computer, and I typically find that they will come and sort of want to be involved in that. Not as much now as my older ones are 9 and 7, but my little one who's 3, she wants to be with me a lot of the time. She's not going to let me sit on the computer and actually concentrate, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's just so much easier if I do this when she's at school, right? The thing is, I have these to-do lists and activities and action items spiraling through my brain all the time. It's just like a full brain, I feel like. And if I don't write it down, it's sitting up there, and then I'm paranoid that I'm going to forget. It's this feeling of when you need to wake up early for something, like maybe you need to catch an early flight, or you're going in for a special meeting, or something out of the ordinary, and you know that you probably will wake up, but you should set an alarm so your brain can relax and take the responsibility of waking you up, putting it onto the technology, right? It's that feeling. Like if I have this feeling like I shouldn't forget something, XYZ, but I could. And because of the could, then I'm anxious about it. Then I'm thinking about it all the time. And then I can't sleep or do whatever I need to do. So having lists, I just have a simple notebook. I like writing things down. I like crossing them off. I'm highly motivated by that. It helps me bang out a lot of things and keeps me on top of things, especially now with the renovation. There's a lot of people to stay on top of and contact. Like I need to make sure the tile man is ordering the tiles that I want, and then they're on back order. So now I'm like permanently texting him and making sure that we have it. Then I have to tell our contractor when are they going to arrive, and like all these little things. I'm now like sub-managing our home, which is not something I would regularly do or have experience doing. I need a list. I need a list. All right, the next thing, super, super important. If you're in a relationship, if you have a partner, and especially if you have kids with that partner and you live together, like we're just talking about in a traditional sense, you need to share roles. I think that when my husband and I are in the zone and we both kind of know what needs to get done, and I'll take it a step further, we both do those things without the other one having to nag that person to do it, things get done because you either do something together, you do a project together, or you each tackle an element of a project. And it's so satisfying to be surprised when someone does something that they say they will do that they've been putting off, okay? And I've noticed this a lot with our renovation in particular, because it's required things like putting things back onto shelves, or organizing something, or selling something on Facebook Marketplace, or I don't know, there's just like certain things that if we split up the responsibilities, obviously it's less work for the individual and it just goes so much smoother. And I think you feed off the other one because you're both working towards a common goal. Like you have common values and motivations and desires, and you're working together to get that done. It's going to make you like 10x more productive because you feel supported. So now you know your partner is going to handle whatever they're dealing with. Then you can go and do more things, and you can maybe be more open to things, and you can maybe think more creatively about where you want to put something or how you want to hang it up. Or it's a very good analogy with renovating, because there is so many little things that you don't think about that you want to probably take care of for yourself. You can't always hire someone else to do it, or nor would you want to. So it's really helpful when both of you guys are on the same page. But even things like in our daily life with getting the kids ready for school, when my husband is away a lot, but when he is here, and he's been here for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm getting spoiled with having him around. But when the kids have school, he often wakes up before me, or he gets out of bed before me rather, and he'll go and start their lunch and prepping, and then I'll get up and make beds and tidy rooms and make our bed and sort all that stuff out, and I'll make breakfast for them while he goes and like gets dressed and sorts himself out for the day. Like there's an important dance that you do, and if you don't have a supportive person or you're not doing it together, it can greatly diminish your productivity and your morale, never mind. Then something else that I have found that boosts my productivity is when there is something that I don't want to do, but I should, I make the goal as small as possible. And I think I'm going to make a video all about my goals or my intentions for 2025. So if that's something that you want to watch or listen to, make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, or let me know in the comments what your goals are for 2025. But I, for example, want to start reading more, and I know partly that I've like fallen off the wagon when it comes to reading, because I go down the doom scroll thing, like a lot of us do. And so I've made the habit now super small, 5 pages a day. It also helps if you have a book that you actually want to read. I was reading a super depressing book and I was just like not into it. So that also just didn't encourage me to read. So I changed books because life is too short and I get the gist of the first book. And I had chosen a book that is interesting to me. And I started reading 5 pages. And then as one would expect, 5 pages turns into 10 pages and 20 pages. And the next thing you know, you're halfway through the book, right? Because reading is something that I really want to prioritize, not just for me, but also to demonstrate and role model to my children, because I want them to read, because I do feel like reading is like one of the single greatest things that will differentiate a child from their peers, the ones that read and have a higher vocabulary or wider vocabulary, and the ones that do not. It's like very much a researched, scientifically proven thing. That's a whole tangent we can go down, but I want to role model that I'm reading. I want to show them that I read for fun and that it is something that helps keep my brain active and I'm learning, so that it's less of a commandment or a hypocritical threat or, instruction that I'm giving them by saying you need to read more and I'm not the one reading. So that's just a side note, but really you need to start super small. If you want to start going for a 5-mile walk, you start telling yourself you need to go, for 10 minutes, walk for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, because ultimately you probably will end up walking more than that, but your brain will stop you and help you create very plausible, logical excuses for everything if you make the goal too lofty and too difficult. And then number 4, rewarding myself. This is a way that I reinforce that loop of being productive. So if I do a whole lot of things, like I'm trying to think recently, because we're renovating, I was able to move some of our things back to their forever home, which is very exciting. If you've ever renovated, it's like I've moved out of my house, but I still live in my house. But there's things that are not in the right place, and it just aggravates me, but I need to be more patient. That should be a goal too. Anyway, I spent the whole, I think, of Thanksgiving and like the whole kind of last week reorganizing stuff, putting stuff back. And I really enjoy that stuff. So it is kind of a reward in and of itself to see an organized space and to have things go back where they're supposed to after such a long time of living in this like flux. But I also reward myself, whether that's like watching a YouTube video on Taylor Swift, as my husband always jokes, or reading my book that I'm really into, playing a game with my kids, doing something really just fun and that, I want to do. That is something that I think is really important when you're starting, when you're trying to create a habit, or you're trying to be more productive and you're doing the things on your list that you don't really want to do. If you have a reward at the end of that, it's your brain starts to associate the productivity, the lists, the getting stuff done as being positive, because it's linked to a reward. So whatever that reward might be for you. And then the last thing is getting a good night's sleep, because we all know, especially if you have kids, that if you don't sleep well, everything else just falls apart. And maybe this is the best hack that should have come first, is to get a good night's sleep and to prioritize your health and wellness. Because if you sleep well consistently, all the other things are going to fall into place. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more motivated. You're going to start to think outside of just tiredness and barely surviving. Like, oh wow, yeah, I could go and declutter that kitchen cabinet, and I could go and cancel that account or sort out this, or you have a lot more bandwidth to think out of the box and do the things that you would love to do, but you never have the energy or desire to actually get started. So those are my best hacks for being a productive person going into 2025. I hope you find them helpful. Let me know if you use any of them in the comments down below and what your best productivity hacks are. I'm sure there's lots of things that I haven't thought about, and I would love to know, because I feel busy all the time. I would love to relax intentionally more, and I struggle to a lot of the time, because I think I'm just, even though I've shared these hacks, I don't get it right all the time, and I'm a hamster on a wheel sometimes, and I often don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. So I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, give this video a like, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.